So, Jules Gracemont, how are you changing which item you're improving with? So you see that I have my tool belt. So I've got 6 items, and you're probably seeing myself change the items either down here, or maybe you're seeing them switch up there or something. What I do is I bind. So I bind these tool belt slots, and the way that you do that, if I can do this, is in Keybind. In anybody remember where it is?
HUD. No, hold on.
Where are they hiding it? So here it is. So in HUD, you can see here activate tool belt slot, and I just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so I just use my number keys, and you can make these whatever you want. And then I, can literally just click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can see it changing out down here. And that's how I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. That's the benefit of having a nice tool belt with at least 5 slots.
And then in addition to that, we bind improve.
So you can see here.
And we bind repair. Yeah, witchcraft.
Yeah, we do bind, and maybe it's in this one? No. Crafting. So I bind improve to the space bar and repair to R. And that's something I've always done. Adam does it a bit differently, and I can just kind of hit space and R to repair. It's all near my fingers.
I am going to send you a tool belt.
We will send you a tool belt. We've got a bunch of 60 quality tool belts sitting in a shelf that I use to imp. Oh no. Okay, hold on. Yeah.
This is
that, apparently.
Messing up our...
No.
Hold on. Deathwind. Hold on. I have your name here on your new character with 2 W's, right? It's just Deathwind with 2 W's.
The last thing that I do, just so you guys can complete all the things that I do here. So here's a load tool belt arrangement. And here you can see that I do Alt plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And therefore, because I saved number 8, if I do Alt 1, then I say this is my carpentry stuff. Alt 2 is sort of just a trowel and a stone chisel, so I can call this my masonry one plus my ropes. 3 is all of my harvesting sort of tools, hatchet and pickaxe and shovel and stuff and a sickle, and I threw in a saw. Looks like 4 is my leatherworking. 5 are all 4 of my ropes. 6 is nothing. 7 is a metal brush. This is archaeology. And 8 is what I'm doing now, which is the platesmithing. And that's how I do it with the keyboard.
Where is it to bind activate? Actions, I think.
Yeah, so Adam binds activate. I don't bind activate.
I can't live without it. I don't know how you can live without it. I guess you double click, right?
I don't activate stuff that's in my inventory. That's essentially what I do.
See how. So remember I told you that trick that I use where to combine items really fast.
Oh, yeah.
I have I have activate and combine on keybinds right next to each other.
Yeah, so and Sipaku is saying the old way of how we used to bind.
Yeah, F1.
For sure.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so for people that can see it, F1, here's the Wurm console. You would have to first know what the binding action is called. So one of the, for example, like dig is just dig, but there might be some other ones that have some special names. We used to have to go to a wiki and look up a page that would tell us all these binding actions. and then you would just hit bind. I don't know, Z dig.
Yeah. So I found activate under the item tab, and combine is there as well.
Okay. Bind, Control W, combine fragment. Ooh. Yeah, so you can, do you bind combine as well, Adam?
Sorry?
Do you bind combine?
Yeah.
That's a mouthful.
So I have
That's
combine and activate together. So what you do is, if you have like a big stack of items that you want to combine together,
I feel like I would make a lot of mistakes if I did that.
Maybe.
So let's say I was combining clay as an example, and I have clay that's
you just
in here
make sure
somewhere. That's 42 WOA.
Yeah, so just make sure that that one is at the top of the list.
That's the one that I would have to be activating. That's what you're saying.
It's at the top of the list. No. I'm saying when I do this, I hover my mouse over the top of the list, like the first line.
Parent item.
Yeah, the parent one that says this. Like I have a string of cloth in my inventory with 43 of them, so it'll tell me on that line there's 43 string of cloth.
Okay.
So make sure that the top one is the one with your WOA in it. And so when you activate from the top, it'll activate that first one automatically.
Correct.
And then you just hit the C button directly after that. Activate C. Or the combine, rather.
I can see how that could be helpful. I don't see how that could be helpful for me, though.
Yeah,
I would make too many mistakes.
The reason why I made that keybind combination...
But that's interesting. I like that.
Was because I wanted to have a quick way of... What was it? So back then, there was no ability of putting a BSB onto a wagon. Okay, so I needed to transport a lot of WEMP. And by a lot, I mean like 30,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
So there'd be a BSB with 30,000 WEMP.
Okay.
And the method of transporting it was I had to pull out however much I could in my inventory, crush them all. So I would crush them all into fiber, and then I would combine that all into a single stack and put that into a raft. And each raft could hold like a ton of those. And that would go on my boat, which would have a ton of rafts. And you could put them all in there like that. Hey, Perry.
Hey, Perry Alien.
How's it going?
And Sipaku, you're saying, after I queue up this stuff?
So when I was doing all that, it was like I had to...
It makes sense for bulk items.
Some way to like streamline that process, you know? And I wish there was a keybind for crush, honestly, because that really was like what's slowing me down. I had to right click the crush button, then I would have to move my mouse back up to the top,
right,
activate, combine. I wish there was just like I put my mouse at the top. I would have had 3 keybinds: crush, activate, combine. And it would have done it nicely.
But Sipaku saying the arch fragments needed a special keybind. The combined fragment, right?
Right.
It's interesting that it needed a different one.
So they made a special one for archaeology, but they didn't make a special one for crush. I still feel like there's no crush keybind.
It's like you're remembering the horrors of the day.
It was the horrors. It was the horror. I even made a forum suggestion and everything. There was like a thread that said what keybinds are missing from the game. I put it in that thread, and it's still not. It still didn't add it.
That's how much. Okay, so when was that? Tell me which year was that?
Maybe 2014 or 2015, somewhere back then.
So 5 or 6 years ago.
You spent like one day. Ago.
One day.
No, this was several times.
Okay,
this
several
just
times.
One day. This was 30,000 WEMP And I must have had to do that 5 or 6 times, probably.
So there was one event where you had to move 30,000 WEMP 6 years ago. And it scarred you so much because you didn't have a crush keybind.
Because it. I mean, the whole process took hours, right? So you're sitting there for hours, literally just taking WEMP and putting it into like out of the BSB and into the boat, out of the BSB into the boat.
Yeah.
But each time you take it out of the BSB, you gotta right-click the thing, go down to a menu, click crush, then bring your mouse back up and activate combine, then move it over to the boat. And you had to repeat that. Like you could do what, 70 at a time? Let me just do some quick calculations here. So I had 30,000 WEMP. I had to do 70 at a time. So I had to do that 428 times in a row. Just to get the WEMP into the boat.
You whipped out the paper and pen. Let me just...
No, I just used my calculator.
Oh, you did your calculator.
Yeah.
Whipped out the calculator. Oh, and
Wurm keeps
thank you. They
like
even
that.
have a keybind for mix now, Adam. Did you know that, Adam?
Oh, you're kidding.
They have a
me.
keybind to mix?
Keybind for mix. Yeah, that's so nice for all those people who need to mix.